Good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to have been invited to perform the celebration of this marriage between Caitlin and Michael today. This moment is very special. It heralds the dawn of a new phase in the lives of Caitlin and Michael, and you have been invited here as dear friends and family to be a part of this special moment. It was said that falling in love is like being the first person to discover the most beautiful thing in the world, to find something so lovely that no one else had even noticed. The beautiful thing about love is that it's an experience we share with all people throughout the world, and yet to everyone who falls in love, it's the most unique and precious thing. Love is a respect for the preciousness and the worth of a person, and I think it's the most valuable gift that we can give to one another. Caitlin and Michael see marriage as the strongest way of expressing the depth of their love for one another. And this afternoon, they will declare their love before the people they care most about in the world. My name is Sonia Morganti, and I am a civil marriage celebrant. I am duly authorised by law to solemnise your marriage according to law. Before you, Caitlin, Jennifer, Leslie Tapping, and you, Michael Patrick Fazackerley, are joined in my presence and in the presence of these witnesses, I am to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship you are now about to enter. Marriage, according to law in Australia, is the union of two people, to the exclusion of all others, voluntarily entered into for life. Could I please ask Craig to be upstanding? One of the deepest relationships in human life is that between a caring father and loving daughter. Today is one occasion this relationship can be acknowledged. Craig represents all of us, particularly his family, but today, in a special gesture, he symbolises his own personal love for his daughter. So mindful of these values, I now ask you, Craig, who brings this woman to be married to this man? Thank you. Please be seated. Now, I would like to introduce you to our fabulous bridal party. Attending Caitlin today is Maid of Honour Harriet Scott, Maid of Honour Raquel Andrews, and bridesmaid Georgia Jennings. Standing beside Michael today is best man Daniel Stanley, best man, and I'm going to try and pronounce this, Ray Sam Sabroom, groomsman Stan Frederman, and groomsman George Frederman. I apologise if I got that totally wrong. Caitlin and Michael wanted you all to know how privileged they are to have such beautiful friends and family standing beside them today. They wanted me to acknowledge what a huge part of their lives you all are, and to thank you for your support leading up to this special day. Caitlin also wanted me to give a shout out to her beautiful sister Erin Lee, who was to be a bridesmaid today, but unfortunately Lee was unable to make the journey to be here. Now, it's not often enough in today's world that we have the opportunity to gather all those that mean the most to us together in one place. Therefore, Michael and Caitlin would like to thank you all for taking the time and making the journey, whether from Hobart, Melbourne, or even Botswana, and for all the preparations that were made on their behalf to ensure they were surrounded by the love of family and friends on their special day. There are no words of appreciation and gratitude great enough to match the feelings that this inspires in them as they stand here now and see all of you gathered here for no other reason than to show them how much you love them. You are their friends and family, the people who are ever present in all of their future memories, and those whom they love most in the world. Thank you. We make a special mention to Caitlin's grand Shirley, who is in South Africa and is unable to make the journey to be here today. And on this special day, we also remember and miss with love Michael's grandmother June, Lily Poo Poo and Uncle Greg, as well as Caitlin's grandfather David. We know they would have been very proud to see you share this commitment of marriage here today, and that their love is here with you both. And now to talk a little bit about how Caitlin and Michael came to be the beautiful couple you see before you today. Even though for Caitlin and Michael it feels like they have been together forever, this beautiful love story started about 2.5 years ago, with Michael stalking Caitlin on Instagram and hinting to a friend to introduce them. Caitlin was impressed with Michael's inability to introduce himself at the party, yet still try for a first kiss on the first date. For a shy guy, he wasn't so shy after all. Michael's first impressions were for Caitlin, what a beautiful face, posh accent, and her rocking style. They enjoyed a couple more dates, and then the free spirit in Caitlin had her doubting if she could fully commit to a relationship crept in. She had always had plans to backpack around the world and move to London, and Michael, who loved Tassie, gardens and Pokemon, and was more of a stay-at-home kind of guy. But after a phone call with her dad and a little contemplation, she decided to proceed with the relationship and see where it went. Because after all, she couldn't even commit to a hair colour, let alone the rest of her life. And as her dad said, you get bored with people and dump them after 6 months. So if you're still together after 2 years, then maybe he's the one. Well, true love worked its magic, and after dating for 5 months, Caitlin moved into Michael's tiny one-room cabin. She was terrified. The cabin was the size of her bedroom, leaving no room to breathe without being in each other's face. But they made it work, and it was perfect. 12 months later, they moved into their first real home and started making it their own. And just recently, they have purchased their own home and couldn't be happier. I asked them both when it was that they realised they had found the one. Caitlin answered that she knew she was going to marry him about 6 months in, when she was driving to work and the song I Belong to You played on the radio, and she started crying, knowing one day she would be walking down the aisle to Michael and the song we just witnessed. For Michael, it was when Caitlin went travelling for the first time and he felt emptiness, like he was incomplete. Michael and Caitlin described their relationship as easy. They support and encourage one another and genuinely enjoy being around each other, spending time together. They love going on little weekends away, camping, movie nights, food, baths, being silly, and family cuddles with the junior cat. They support each other through their most challenging moments and have helped one another grow in ways they never thought possible. So how did that proposal unfold? On the day in question, Caitlin wasn't feeling her best, and all she wanted to do was stay in bed. But Michael had other ideas and forced her to take a trip with him to Bruny Island. After a few heated moments and a few tantrums from Caitlin, they arrived at the beach where they first fell in love. Michael went straight in and knelt down on one knee, and a very emotional Caitlin, still crying but now happy tears, said yes. And of course today we all get to celebrate. I asked Caitlin and Michael what they love most about one another. Michael loves that he can be completely himself around one another, that Caitlin is silly and crazy just like him, and Caitlin loves that Michael's soul and heart, and that he will do anything for those he cares about. Together they believe love is intangible. Love is when you are no longer two separate people, but you are co-joined souls. They become a part of you. They become your home. Marriage to them both means loving and cherishing one another for the rest of your life. They are honest with one another, they enjoy each other's company and always have fun together. They know what each other needs emotionally and love nothing more than to see each other happy. They appreciate one another and always pull together in a crisis. And trust me, between the two of them, there are a lot of crises. But despite all these high notes, they do have a few complaints about one another. Caitlin tells me Michael always forgets the one thing she asked him to get at the shops. And Michael tells me Caitlin has the constant need to give him nipple cripple. But Together, they are looking forward to their future together. They love spending time at home watching movies, hanging out with family and friends, and making each other laugh until they can't breathe. They dream of enjoying some travel together in the future before extending the Fazakerley family. Michael and Caitlin, it is very clear from speaking with both of you that you adore each other and love many qualities about the other, and not just the perfect ones. The foundation of knowing and understanding and accepting each other is an important one for a successful marriage. Overall, these two claim they make each other a better person. This union of marriage is a mutual commitment to continue building your life together. You have already embraced and enjoy living together, and embark on the next part of your journey together with a full understanding that marriage is about caring, supporting, and respecting each other. It is about creating mutual joy and fulfillment, and readiness to face together the ups and the downs that underlie our human experiences and relationships. A lifelong commitment of love, trust, and honesty with your best friend and soulmate. I would now like to ask you to turn and face one another, which you already are doing. Caitlin and Michael, the symbolic vows that you are about to make are a way of saying to one another, you know all those things that were promised and hoped and dreamed? Well, I meant it all, every word. Look at one another and remember this moment in time. Before this moment, you have been many things to one another: acquaintance, friend, companion, lover, dancing partner, even teacher. For you have learned much from one another these past few years. Shortly, you shall say a few words that will take you through a threshold of life, and things will never quite be the same. For after today, you shall say to the world, this is my husband, this is my wife. So Michael, I now ask you, do you take Caitlin to be your wedded wife? Will you love and respect her? Will you be honest with her and stand by her through whatever may come, so that you can share all of life's adventures together?
I do.
Caitlin, do you take Michael to be your wedded husband? Will you love and respect him? Will you be honest with him and stand by him through whatever may come, so that you can share all of life's adventures together?
I do.
Now, Caitlin and Michael will now read their vows, and to decide who is going to go first, they will do what they always do before making important decisions.
I, Caitlin Papin, call upon our family and friends to witness that I take you, Michael Fazakerley, to be my husband. Michael, today I give myself to you in marriage. This is going to take a really long time, guys. There are no words that I can say to explain what you mean to me, only feelings. So I'm just going to try and explain some of those feelings. Home. You feel like home. And I've never known that feeling before. I moved so much that I never got attached to a house. I never felt like it was my home. I never had the chance of getting homesick until I met you. In the lamest, grossest way possible. I'm homesick every time I'm away from you. So thank you for showing me what a home feels like. Safe. You make me feel so safe. I know in my heart that as long as you're here, I'm safe. You know more than anyone else how I put my walls up because of how scared I've always been to let people in. But with you, I don't have any walls. So thank you for making me feel safe and working with me to break those down. Difficult. Loving you has been the most difficult thing I've ever done, but simultaneously the easiest. So hear me out. Loving you and choosing to love you for the rest of my life is by far the easiest decision that I've ever had to make. And as everyone knows by here, I'm extremely indecisive. I've changed my hair 8 times since I met Michael. So it's fair to say I'm very indecisive and always want change, but not with you. You're exactly what I want, and I have absolutely no doubts. I've never had any doubts with you. So yes, loving you has been the easiest thing I've ever done. But, oh, and there's a big but. Loving you has also been the most difficult thing I've ever done. And I'm not talking about how you drive me up the walls with your sugar highs and your insane energy at the most inconvenient times, or how you never seem to remember the one thing I asked you to get from the shops, or how you loudly blow your nose just as I'm drifting to sleep. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about how you've changed me and challenged me in ways that I never knew I needed. You've pushed me into dealing with baggage that I left on one of my trips 6-7 years ago. You've made me really face my demons, and it's been very hard, but I'm better for it. So thank you for pushing me, and thank you for not being easy. And that follows on to the next, growth. I always say, you know, you're with the right person if you help each other grow, and that's exactly what you've done for me. You've forced me into growing into a parent a lot quicker than I thought I had to. I only thought it would be with my first child and not my husband. But nevertheless, thank you. Thank you for being your childish, crazy, and beautiful self. I adore you for it. I could honestly go on for hours about how you make me feel and what I adore about you, but I also want champagne, so we can't be here all day. Alongside these things, you have helped me feel so supported, so beautiful, loved, and unconditionally adored. I love you. Thank you. So, today I give myself to you in marriage, and I make you these promises. I promise to encourage and inspire you, to laugh with you, and to comfort you in times of sorrow and struggles. I promise to love you in good times and in bad, when life seems easy and when it seems hard, when our love is simple and when it's an effort. I promise to cherish you and to always hold you in the highest regard. I promise to not keep score, because I always win anyway. I promise to listen when you're talking to me about plants, sports, or whatever else you talk about, and not just go, yes dear, while I'm on my phone. I promise to not leave 100 half-drunken teas around the house. I promise to eat something before I yell at you in anger. I promise to love you even when we hate each other, or when it takes you 6 months to paint the sign. Michael, I promise myself to you forever and always.
I, Michael Fazackerley, call upon our family and friends to witness that I take you, Caitlin Tapping, to be my wife. Caitlin Jennifer Leslie Tapping. From Honey Badger to Freycinet, from Cloudy Bay to Sandridge Estate. You are the person that is exactly what I wanted, and the person who is exactly what I needed. That just a short time ago, I didn't even know existed. The first time I ever laid eyes on you, the first thing that came into my mind was, wow, now that's wife material right there. So beautiful, so accomplished, so graceful. You had that look in your eyes that just screamed, I could be the one for you, Mike. As soon as this thought went through my head, I thought I'd put my phone down and get off your social media. I thought it's probably better if I got off my couch and take myself to a real life party where you might be. And to my delight, you were at that party. It wasn't the best plan, but it was a plan nonetheless. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw you for the first time. Your beauty and grace that was glowing as you stood out in the room. Who'd have thought all the events from that moment have led us here today? On one hand, I never would have known, I never would have thought or dreamt I'd be lucky enough for such an unbelievably accomplished human to walk into my life, and for her to want to walk the rest of it with me. Yet on the other hand, the fluidness of all the events since the time we met has seemed as natural and normal to me as breathing. It is like having an extra limb that was always meant to be there, that is there for you, that helps you, that supports you, that provides for you, and that always knows exactly what you need. From the beginning, part of me knew this was fate and that this was destiny. And Caitlin and Michael were meant to be. From the beginning, you have shown me unconditional love, and you have put me first before anything else. You have been my rock, and you have been my go-to in crisis. You have been my go-to for fun and adventure. You have been my best friend. And you have been the best teammate I could ever ask for. And you've been the most beautiful teammate I could ever ask for. You are the one that has allowed me to open up and be absolutely comfortable and vulnerable with you all of the time. Above all, I am so fortunate that you are the one who I look forward to seeing more than anything else every single day on my way home. You are the one, and I am so blessed. Caitlin, there is no place or time in the universe where I will not love you with all my body and soul. I vow to be your protector and provide a home safe within my arms. I vow to love you for all of time, unconditionally, and with all of my being. I vow to be your biggest support and be there with you on every step of life's path. From Honey Badger to Freycinet, from Cloudy Bay to Sandridge Estate. You will be forever in my heart, from present time to the after the end of time. I love you forever and always, Caitlin, very soon to be Zachary.
Well, as a symbol of their connection and the union they have formed before us today, Caitlin and Michael will now exchange wedding rings. Caitlin and Michael, may your wedding rings always remind you of the love you share and the meaningful vows you have taken before us today. May I ask Peter to please step forward and pass Caitlin's ring to Michael.
Caitlin, I give this ring as a symbol of my love to you, now and forever. May it always remind you of me and the happiness we share.
Peter, could you please pass Michael's ring to Caitlin?
Michael, I give this ring as a symbol of my love for you, now and forever. May it always remind you of me and the happiness we share.
Caitlin and Michael, please wear your rings with love and honour. Insomuch as this day, Caitlin and Michael have declared before us all their love for each other and made commitments to each other. They have symbolised this by the joining of hands, taking vows and exchanging rings. It is now my pleasure to declare them to be husband and wife. Michael, you may kiss your beautiful bride. Welcome for the first time as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Fazackerley.